Hashem.
Well.
It's so nice to be together and welcome, Bruchim Habayim. Some of us were away, some of us returning, and we are in Shemuel Aleph. We're going to get some copies here, and we just finished off Perek, and essentially from the end of Perek Gimel until the end of Perek Zayin. Until Perek Zayin is the whole story of the Aron, the holy tabernacle that's taken and stolen, or taken or captured from the Jewish people, taken to the Philistines, and the Philistines are hit with a very, very, very bad hit that Hashem hits them, and essentially it's all the cities of the Pelishtim, and they're called Sarnei Pelishtim. What is the word Sarnei Pelishtim? It's like the assemblement of different cities where the Pelishtim are situated and where they hold governance in Israel. And so it's Ashkelon, Ashdod, Aza, Gat, and Ekron. 5 places.
Aza is Gaza, right?
Gaza, yeah. Gaza, Aza, yeah. Okay. All these places. And so on that, it's almost like the strip of where the water is. I mean, if you go Ashkelon, Ashdod, Aza or Gaza, and I think Ekron and Gat were probably around there. And so the Aron goes and it begins in Ashdod, and then it goes from city to city because they're plagued with the Tchorim, like we said last time, which is the mice that are attacking people and eating their intestines. And it was the worst things that we said. Worse than, as we said, all the 10 plagues put together. And the 10 plagues were very bad, but each one had their own time, sometimes 7 days each or whatever, and then there was like a little bit of a breathing space between each one. This one was the big hit to all the 10 plagues put together, and it was mehuma. It was also like a disorientation that God confused them to such a degree that they didn't know where it came from. They couldn't tell day from night. It was the worst thing. So like this teaches us a lot about the sanctity of the Aron, the holy tabernacle, and the Aron was in Kodesh HaKodeshim, as we said before, and it didn't have a function to serve for something. Right? Remember, did we say that last week? It wasn't there. So the menorah is like we lit candles. The shulchan we put the bread on. The mizbeach, the altars, we served the sacrifices on it. But the Aron didn't have a function, but it was just there as it is holy. And it's very sacred. And soon we're going to see, as sacred as it was also posed a very sensitive space for the Jewish people, for the Hebrew people also, when they received it. So
didn't it contain the broken luchot?
Oh, so there's a big machloket, there's a dispute. Did we have one Aron or did we have 2 Aronot? Did we have 1 tabernacle or did we have 2 tabernacles? So it appears that we had 1. But not everyone agrees to that. There's actually a machloket in the Gemara as to, did we have one that always remained in the camp, which is the one that is the holy one, and then we had another one that went out to war with us. According to that opinion, the one that went out to war with us was the one that contained inside of it the broken tablets, and the one that stayed with us in the camp was the one that had the wholesome tablets with the Torah and the jar of the man and all that. And so that would be the distinction. And then according to the other opinion, it was just one Aron that was with us and we had to go to war, went to war, and it came back. And so there's a machloket on that. But yes, it did contain the Torah inside of it, the tablets, plus the broken tablets, to say if it was one Aron. And this Aron, whenever it went to war with us, it would actually shoot fire. So it was like a machine gun, if you can believe it or not. It would shoot fire. It would shoot fire to the enemies. And it's like you can't believe it, but that's what it said. It would shoot fire, and that's why they sent it before. It's also, of course, for the bracha, but it was really like artillery to our enemies. So now they get punished so heavily, and they decide after 7 months. It took them a long time to decide. Like, okay, after 7 months, that it's like on the strip of the whole coastal strip over there from one city to the next. Like, we had enough. We're gonna send it. We don't want it anymore with us. So what do they decide to do? They say, you know what? We're gonna send it. But it's very hard to send it. I'll tell you why it's very hard to send it. And the Kohanim, the priests, not the Jewish priests, the non-Jewish priests, of the Philistines realized how difficult it is to sin. Number one, it is a very big hit on the ego of the Philistines, which are, we have to remember, also in the days of in the book of Judges, the Jewish people, unfortunately, did not listen to the word of Hashem. Hashem told them, get rid of all your enemies and all the people that are living here on the land. Either tell them to leave or take their own autonomy from them, and you have to govern over them. Do not let them govern over parts and segments of Israel. Now, some of the Jewish people, some of the areas, like in the tribal areas of the Jewish tribes, did not listen to that, and they allowed some of the other nations to be in Eretz Israel, and they didn't enforce their authority over them. And so we had a time in Eretz Israel, just like today. You guys try to go today to Jenin and come out alive. Try to go to Gaza and come out alive. Try to go to Ramallah and come out alive. Try to go to parts of like the near Hebron or Shechem. You can't. We had the same thing then, where Jewish people could not go through certain areas because they would get attacked. Why? Because in the very beginning, when we were given, each tribe was given their part of the land, we didn't follow instructions, we didn't follow the orders, and so that slowly, gradually, caused a situation where it wasn't even safe for Jewish people to go in certain areas because they didn't listen, but whatever. And so over here also, it would be a blow to the Philistines that not only, the God of the Jews, the God of Am Yisrael has hit us hard. It actually shows that we don't even have a right to be here. Like, it shows that we don't have power, authority, jurisdiction, governance over these places. But eventually, they're dying so bad. Yesterday, I went to a pet store. I just want to share something. Yesterday, I walked into a pet store with one of my kids, just looking around, what's this, what's that, cute, very cute. And I felt bad. There was a hamster there that somehow he had the intelligence to understand that he's not supposed to be in this glass box. And he's trying to eat through the glass and get out of the glass. And I thought maybe like he he had like some sort of paranoia or like hallucination, like what's going on with him. But he wants to get out. And he's looking at me and he's showing me that I'm gonna eat out of this thing. And he's not gonna eat out of this thing. But when Hashem did the miracle with the mice that we said, that they used to go into people's bodies and eat out their whole intestines and take it out, the people started putting the metal plates on the floor and in the wall. They started building metal bathrooms and metal things so they couldn't penetrate. And they ate through layers and layers and layers of metal so that they can go in their bodies and take their intestines. And this little mice yesterday showed me, I was like, it's virtually impossible for a mouse to do that. It's impossible. How can a mouse eat through layers and layers and layers? And it's like a little hamster. What's a mouse? It's maybe a little bit, stronger, maybe a little bit more durable, I don't know. But Hashem wants something to happen, it happens. And here we are in chapter 6, that finally the Kohanim advise, which is the priest of the Philistines, are advising their people, get rid of this Aron Kodesh. It's not good to have it here because we're getting hit very strongly. And so what do? So we're in chapter 6. You all see there's Hebrew. After the Hebrew, there's English, okay? So what do? They say,
Thank you.
so in the beginning of chapter 6, you can see the English, you can see the Hebrew. So they said, let's send the Aron of Hashem, let's send it out of here. But they said, if we're sending it out of here, al teshalechu oto rekam. Do not just send the Aron empty-handed. Rather, ki hashev tashivu lo Hashem master ha'peru v'noda lachem lama lo tasur yado mikem. You have to send it with a gift back to the Jews. Now, it's very difficult for them to do so because, first of all, it's like they're sick. The Philistines are dying. They're dropping like flies with this mice eating their intestines and taking out their intestines, and it's on the floor. And so they're all dying. And so now the priest of the Kohanim, that miraculously Hashem saved some of them to be still intact, to like think and do that kind of thing. They're like, look, you have to send this away, but we know that Hashem is not going to stop hitting us as long as the holy Aron reaches the Jewish place. So it might take a day, a week, or whatever it is. We have to transport it. So it's leaving us, so we're losing our honor, our credibility, our ego, because we're in war with the Jews. So we're still not healed yet, and we're only going to heal when it gets to the Jewish people. So maybe there's going to be resistance, but their Kohanim told them, according to the Ralbag, do it. So what do? They send it. If you follow along in Perek Vav, now in Pasuk Dalet, chapter 6, verse 4, Vayomru ma Hashem asher nashiv lo. So they said, what are we going to return to Hashem? So we're going to send back the Aron, but what kind of gift can we send back to the Jewish people to help us have forgiveness? So he says over here, Vayomru mispas la'nei Pilishtim chamisha zahav. So there's 5 cities of the coalition of Pilishtim, as we said before, the coastal cities. V'chamisha akbar zahav. So you have to make, so the mice hit them, right? So we're going to make 5 gold mice looking golden artifacts. Make 5 golden mice, and make 5 golden intestine shaped hemorrhoid. Yeah, like that. Techorim, you see that over there. And you know how humiliating it is to make hemorrhoid looking jewels? And to send that to the Jews, it's very embarrassing. It's super but I guess the plague was so bad.
That's what he said.
Is that an insult to the Jews?
To the Jews? Why?
Yeah, to send something like that to the Jews?
We still didn't get the
It could be seen as an insult to the Jews. When I see it, I also felt it's an insult to the Philistines, because they're they're admitting that everything that happened with their hemorrhoid, it's unbelievable. And everybody sees it and hears it and knows about it. So for them, they felt that this is the way to show, not only are we giving back the Aron Kodesh, the Holy Ark, we're also showing that all the disease, that plague, like the COVID that happened to them in that time, was from Hashem. And so we're sending that back. So they sent 5 golden mice and 5 golden things, Tchorim, to back to the Jewish people. And and by the way, in verse 5 it says, your mice that are destroying the aretz, the land. What do you mean the mice that are destroying the land? It looks like the mice weren't only plaguing the people, but it looks like they were also if you look at Pshat, you know what Pshat means? If you look at the basic simple text, the mice were also probably eating through the land and destroying all the crops. So maybe Hashem will have mercy on you. And so he says, why did he have to give that? Says the Ralbag. He says because the mice didn't only eat and plague those 5 coastal cities. For every coastal city, there's also a suburb. Yeah? Like a little moshav, a little kibbutz, a little suburb next there. The mice also hit all of those cities. So meaning to say, even the cities that the Holy Aron was not there, that's where the neighboring cities also got plagued with that kind of thing. And so they sent, according to the Ralbag, not only 5 golden mice and golden tchorim, but even more than that, corresponding to all the cities, just to show that maybe Hashem can have mercy on us. Now, verse Pasuk Zayin, verse 7. Now this is a very interesting Pasuk. This Pasuk says, how are we going to send the Aron to the Jewish people? So it says over here, build a new wagon. What do you mean, a new wagon that nobody ever used? Tell me if you heard anything close to this. Shabbat, if you ever heard the parasha or read the parasha. Take a new wagon, ushtei parot alot, and new nursing cows that just had babies. Asher lo ala aleim hol, that a yoke was never put on these cows. Sound familiar? The red heifer, the paraduma. You take a red heifer that never had a yoke on it. So take 2 cows that just had babies, and those cows never worked, and put brand new, like new into the workforce cows. Attach to them a brand new wagon, okay? Vasartem et aparot ba'agala, and then enforce or attach the cows to the wagon. Vashevotem b'neim acharem habayta, and take the baby calf that these cows just gave birth to and lock them in the house. What's going on over here? What are you talking about? Like, what significance does it have? You want to send the ark back to the Jews? Send it back to the Jews. What's all the detail? So our commentators over here explain, unbelievable. They said, listen, this goes against the nature of the cows. Meaning, when you have a cow, you have a cow or any mother, but also in the animal kingdom that just had a baby, you think they're going to leave their babies back in the house? Even a cow doesn't do that. Even the cow doesn't leave the baby back in the barn. You tell the cow to go. So you have to take something that is against the nature of these mammals, and it's against their nature to leave their children. It's against their nature to work and to pick up a huge wagon with a huge tabernacle on it and put it on the path. And then you'll see where it goes. If it ends up going to where the Jews are, that's a sign from Hashem. What do you mean it's a sign from Hashem? First of all, no GPS, but it's still going to go to where the Jews are. Secondly, that they're leaving their kids behind. Thirdly, that they could pick up such a big wagon. It's unusual. So it says over here, that was the sign over here.
All right, there is a...
What?
I'm just looking and reading it in the Hebrew. There is a sign between Agala.
Agala כמו עגלה, עגל, נכון, יפה מאוד. עגל is a calf, and Agala is a wagon. Right? Rashi also says, so Chani is saying something very nice. Rashi says, Asher lo ala aleim ol, that a yoke was never put on them. He says, Kol zen nisayon, this is as a test, as a challenge. She'en elu reuyot limshoch, there's no way that these are trained to pull a wagon, and they still did that. But he also says over here that alot, what is the cows that are called alot? Megadlot olelehen, they're raising their little baby calf. And you have to lock the kids in the house. You have to lock the kids in the house so the kids or the baby calf cannot run or go after the mother cows. And so what happened? So take them and take that. And by the way, why take a cow that never had a yoke put on it? Says the Radak, Rabbi David Kimchi, Ze amru ba'avur kedushat Aaron. This is for the holiness of the Aaron of the ark. Shelo na'asa ba'im ela acheret. That these cows never had any other job or labor with these cows, so it's like pure. The first thing they're ever doing is to take this Aaron. Kmo she'amru gamken agala chadasha, also like the wagon that they built to attach to the cows, also a brand new one. So it's like very pure, the first thing ever. So it's like a new car from the dealership. Like right, it's a different kind of thing. So that's what he said over here. Okay. So he says over here, and if the Aron, which is the tabernacle itself, because the cows can't pick it up. There's no way the cows could take it, it's so heavy. If there will be koach ba'aron, if there will be energy in the tabernacle itself to push the cows, so it's like the Aron was pushing the cows, according to Rashi. That they're going to take the Aron on their own, like, so the Aron is pushing them, then we know that the Aron wants to go back to its natural habitat. It wants to go back to where the Jews are, and that's a sign from Hashem.
It reminds me of the Rambam's Aron. It went straight from Egypt to Tiberia, where he's buried. Did you ever hear?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
They put it on a wagon?
Like a horse or something.
And it went from...
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's an interesting story. No, I mean, so I'm not surprised. So then that's what they said. That's what they said over here. And put everything, all the jewelry that we said before, put it on the Aron. And then in verse 9, Pasuk Tet, Uritem yudech gevulo ya'ale bet shemesh, hu asa lanu et hara hagedola hazot, ve'im lo ve'yadanu ki lo yado naga banu mikeu haya lanu. If the cows are going to end up in Bet Shemesh, we know it's from Hashem. If they're not going to end up in Bet Shemesh, we know that it's just a chance. Just a mere coincidence. So what evidently happened? Vayasu anashim ken, and the people did that. Vayikhu shte parot alot vayasum ba'agala v'tveim kol b'bayit. They did exactly that. Yeah? Verse 11, Yud Aleph. Vayasimu ta'on Adonai el ha'agala ve'et ha'agaz ve'et achbera zav ve'et tzameh tochon. They put everything on the wagon. Vayisharna ha'parot baderech al derech Bet Shemesh. And the cows, yisharna. What is the word yisharna? It comes from two. It's Rashi tells us, Hare tevazo androgynous. This is a double. It's an androgynous word. It could mean two things. Yisharna could mean what? What is yisharna?
Straight.
Lehishaer, to remain. What do you say?
Straight.
Yashar is straight. What Mama?
Straight. Even no.
What other word is hidden in this
If they start to sing?
thing?
Really?
What?
Just kidding.
What did you say?
Shar.
Shira.
Sing. Sing.
Shar.
Yeah, but
Rashi brings the Gemara in Masechet Sotah. The Gemara in Masechet Sotah says, Masechet Avodah Zarah says, Vayishar Parot. First of all, according to Rashi, they went straight, and they went straight. They didn't go back. Sometimes a cow, it's a little tired, a little this, a little that, wants to graze, wants to eat, wants to drink. Straight from there until Bet Shemesh. And I used to live in Bet Shemesh, and my in-laws live next to Gaza. It takes like 45-50 minutes to get there. Okay,
wow.
these cows. So, or even if it's Ashdod or Ashkelon, it's even farther. Far. Yashar. Driving 45-50 minutes. These cows just went Yashar. But another explanation, Ishana, Shaul. They sang, they gave praise to Hashem as they were going to Hashem. That was their honor, they gave praise to Hashem. Mashira Amur said the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah, Hoshia lo yiminu Ezra kodsho. God will, Lehoshia, He will redeem. Hoshia lo yiminu, the right hand of Hashem, is a redeemer. Uzera kodsho, and the holiness of His arm is Moshia et Hashem. Now I don't know why they said or sing particularly this verse, but next time you hear your cow singing, it's not the first time that cows are singing in the history of mankind. So that's what it says over here, they were singing.
The Yashar doesn't mean Kfitza Tadera. Yashar, it doesn't mean Kfitza Tadera, does it?
Not according to this pshat. Either Yashar, or they went to, or they sang. So they went there, they went singing, and they went straight, and they didn't skip, and they got to their destination, they got to their location right away, no problem, nothing happened. Uvet shemesh kotzrim chitim. Now what happened? Oh, by the way, the pasuk also says, "Velo yitzaru yamin u'shmol." They didn't move right, they didn't move left, they didn't leave the way. V'sarnei pelishtim olchim acharem ad givul bet shemesh. And these leaders of the Plishtim are going after the Agala, and just to see what's happening, and they're following the wagon until it gets to Bet Shemesh. Here it's called Bet Shemesh, and Bet Shemesh kotzrim ketzir chitim ba'emek. Now the people in Bet Shemesh happen to be harvesting wheat ba'emek in the valley, and what do they see? Vayishu taneim, they lift their eyes. Vayiru et Aaron, they see the tabernacle. Vayismechu lirot, and they were happy to see. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? The people of Bet Shemesh see the Agala, they see the Aaron, and they're happy. What?
It's a good thing it's returned back to the Jewish people.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. It's a big miracle. It's a mamash. It's an unbelievable miracle. And you could see the hand of Hashem Hashgacha Pratit, which is divine intervention that God really orchestrates and is deliberate and manipulates things in our life for the well-being of Bnei Israel. But it says over here, why do we need to know? Maybe you could tell me, why does the verse need to teach us that the people of Bet Shemesh are reaping their harvest, or harvesting, and they're in the valley, and they were happy? They were happy, I understand. Why do I need to know that they're harvesting? What is important?
Maybe that indicated the time
of year,
The time of year?
Yeah.
So I need to know the time of year, you're saying? Huh?
Everybody was out.
Maybe it was Shavuot, that's what I'm thinking, maybe it's around the time of Shavuot. So let's see over here, huh? So he says over here like this. Let's keep going. Yudalid 14. So the wagon somehow goes to this home of this person called Yeshua Bet Hashimshi, Yeshua from Bet Shemesh, and it's parked over there, just stopped right over there at the house of Yeshua. ושם אבן גדולה ויבקעו את עצי העגלה ואת הפרות העלו עולה להשם. So they took the cows, they undid everything, they took the wood from the wagon and they made a fire out of it, they shechted the cows, they burnt them to Hashem, meaning like a sacrifice all the way up to Hashem. והלוויים הורידו את ארון השם ואת הארגז אשר איתו אשר בו כלי הזהב וישימו אל האבן הגדולה ואנשי בית שמש העלו עולות ויזבחו זבחים ביום ההוא להשם. The Levites took out everything that they saw in the Aron, fine. And the 5 people of Plishtim saw this, and they went back to Ekron on the same day. Now, this is not a interpretation that I saw. Huh?
They just killed their transportation.
No,
Oh, they weren't. They were probably following it on their own, maybe on horses or camels or donkeys. Yeah, they were like on a separate thing. Because then, yeah, so they were following that. Now, I didn't see this in an interpretation one, but when I see it now, something just surfaces for me here, that the 5 Plishtim saw this. When you see this, if I was a Plishti and I saw this, I would like say, "Where's the rabbi here? I want to be Jewish." Like, come on, like I
They're just like,
yeah, they're like, okay, and they go back home, done, and they go back. V'shav vayashuvu Ekron ba'imu. They went back to Ekron. It's not only geographically, they went back to their ways. Okay, done. We're not in trouble anymore. Let me go serve my idols.
they were
Okay.
relieved.
They were relieved. Now I could continue doing my thing. It didn't impact them. It didn't make a dent. It didn't do it. That's the way I see it. But but let's keep going. Now it's talking about the Techorei HaZahav, the intestine-looking golden artifacts that they got. Asher yeshivu plishtim Hashem l'Hashem. So now there's a list of how many. One from Ashdod, one from Aza, one from Ashkelon, one from Gat, one from Ekron. And the same with the golden mice that they gave them. Mispar kol harei plishtim lachem et asrim ir miftar ve'ad kofer v'parazi. Okay, fine. Now this is something unbelievable. Verse 19, Pasuk Yutet. Vayach be'anshe Bet Shemesh. Hashem hits the people of Bet Shemesh. Now Hashem sends a plague to the Jewish people of Bet Shemesh. Now, why? Ki ra'u ba'aron Hashem, because they saw the Aron, they saw the tabernacle of God. Vayach ba'am shivim ish, and he hit in the nation 70 people. 50,000 ish, 50,000 people. So it's a little confusing. Is it 70 people or is it 50,000 people? And then it says, Vayitabelu ha'am, and the nation has mourned. Ki yika Hashem ba'am makah gedolah, because God has hit the nation in a very grand makah, in a very grand blow. So, what was their sin? What did they do? What was so wrong? The people of Bet Shemesh. So, there's a few things that over here. So, first of all, what does the pasuk say? Kira'u ba'aron Hashem, because they saw the Aron. They saw the tabernacle. Remember the pictures of the tabernacle with the golden. So they saw it. So how are they not going to see that? What's the sin of seeing that? So one interpretation is the Radak brings over here Kira'u, Rabbi David Kimchi, Kira'u be'aron Hashem. One interpretation is they're working, reaping, They see the Aron coming, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice," and they keep on working. They don't stop. They don't get up. You know, in Simchat Torah, when they take out the Sifrei Kodesh, everyone on a Shabbat, any day, or if we're sitting right over here and somebody walks in the door with a Sefer Torah, you know what we have to do? We have to stand up. You're not allowed to even sit down next to the Sefer Torah. And even a bigger mitzvah, you have to walk it 4 amot, 2 meters. You can't just pretend it's not here. And so they see the Aron, the holy Aron with the Kuvim, the miraculous Aron, made out, it's unbelievable. It has the tablets inside. It was in the Holy of Holies. And they see, they're like, "Oh, very nice." And they keep on working. So some people say that was the sin, and Hashem gave him the sin, gave him the consequence for that. Another explanation is that they spoke with a lack of kavod towards the Aron. They said, "Oh, the Aron, they took you, they brought you," like that. And the third one, which is that they shepatchu et ha'aron li'ot ma betocho. They went to the Aron. They're like, "Well, let's really see now what's inside this thing." So they open it up and they look inside this thing. And we know even if a person goes like this with their finger and touches the Aron, they die right away. So that's what happened over there. So Hashem plagues them. 70 people, 50,000 people. What does that mean? There's a few interpretations to 70 people. So what's the number 70 people? Does that ring a bell to anybody, 70 people?
Yeah, they went down to
The
Mitzrayim.
nations?
In
They
Mitzrayim?
went down to Mitzrayim with 70 people.
The 70 people in Mitzrayim, meaning they were the elders, the Zekanim, the leaders, the leaders of the Jewish people. The 70 people correspond to the leaders. Now when you have the leaders, they were so great that they were like as great as 50,000 people.
Yeah.
That's one interpretation. And another interpretation is it was actually 50,000 people that died, but they were such great people that every one of those 50,000 people was like as those amazing leaders that we had in Mitzrayim, those 70 people. Meaning those 50,000 people were valuable, pious, righteous people. And they still were plagued with that, because it doesn't matter, sometimes you could be righteous, you could be pious, you could have all the good deeds, but you can't do certain things. We're not allowed to do that. So that's the plague that happened over there. And and the people of Bet Shemesh said, who could stand in front of Hashem? Because people are dying. Who could help us? Verse 21, Chafalef, Vayishlachu malachim el yoshvei kiryat yarim. So they sent messengers. A malach is either an angel, but it's a messenger, yeah? To the people of Kiryat Yarim. Anybody know Kiryat Yarim nowadays? Tellstone on the way to Yerushalayim. That's Kiryat Yarim. If you want to know how far it is from Bet Shemesh, it's a 30-minute drive, 25-minute drive. So imagine like with a horse or whatever, like how long it takes to get there. Anyways, they sent people to Kiryat Yarim. They say, Heshivu plishtim taron Adonai redu alu elechem. Come back and take the holy Aron back to your place, because that's where it's supposed to be. Chapter 7. Perek Zayin. ויבואו אנשי קריית יערים ויעלו את ארון אדוני והביאו אותו אל בית אבינדב בגבעה ואת אלעזר בנו קידשו לשמור את ארון השם. So people from Kiryat Yarim came, and eventually they brought back the holy Aron to Tellstone, to Kiryat Yarim. ויהי מיום שבט הארון בקריית יערים והרבו ימים והיו 20 שנה. So they brought back the holy ark to where it's really supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be there, that's the original place. Maybe also the people around there. And it was there for 20 years. And these are good years. These are good 20 years. Well, soon we'll see how good they were. But they were relatively good. They're relatively good. And then it says, Vayinahu kol Bet Yisrael achrei Hashem. And all of Bet Yisrael were Yinahu. They were Yinahu after Hashem. What does Yinahu after Hashem mean? So he says over here, either Yinahu means that they went after Hashem. They went in his ways, yeah? And it was a good 20 years. But how did they go after Hashem? Says Rashi, Alidei Shemuel, because of Shemuel, Shaya mechazer meir leir. Shmuel used to go from city to city to city to city. Shmuel never said, you know what? These are my office hours. Look me up in Google Maps. You have something, come to me. If I'm available, I'll talk to you. He wasn't that kind of leader. He said, where are there Jewish people living? I'll come to you. And he used to go from city to city to city to city. I think we spoke about it in the first or second class. I think it was in the first class that Shmuel, I don't know. But Shmuel Hanavi never stopped. Until his last days, he went from place to 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 make sure what's going on, what's happening in the community, how are you treating your wife, how are you educating your children, are you okay, how are your dealings with other people, are you going to synagogue, are you eating what you're supposed to eat, are you staying where you're supposed to stay, are you going where you're supposed to go. And then he would teach them and also tell them the truth. This is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. And he would go from place to place, so it actually was a very working model for 20 years because he went to them. And by the way, they say about Shemuel Hanavi that da'ato me'urevet im habriot. He was involved with everybody. He knew everything about the people. I don't know if he knew, like what they're allergic to and when their birthday is, but he knew about the people, like what's going on with the Jewish people in their Jewish life, the relationship with Hashem, with the Torah. Are they studying Torah? Are they teaching Torah? Do they have school? Do they have a mikveh? Do they have a Jewish school? Do they have a synagogue? Do they have enough books? They have enough svarim and so on and so forth. And that's what he did. And by him to, okay. So that's what he did over here. But yeah, so he went and he did that. So one person can make a very big difference. We all need to be like Shemuel Hanavi. We, with our family, with our children, with our neighbors, with ourselves, people around us, a cousin that lives in Arizona, whatever it is, be in touch with them, see how they're doing, send them a book for Rosh Hashanah, maybe they're less involved, less affiliated, incorporate something good in their life, a good teaching, I don't know, something. And so it does make an impact. And, okay. But let's go back a verse. We said that they took everything to the house of Avinadav, right? In the Givah, and Elazar beno lishmor et Aron Hashem, to safeguard the Aron of Hashem. What is this to safeguard? What?
To guard.
What are you saying? Lishmor is to guard? The mani amati? To safeguard? Oh, to save. To save, to guard, to safeguard. So over here, the Radak says, Rabbi David Kimchi says, Lishmor habayit shaya bo Aaron. It's not only to lishmor the Aaron, Meaning, to guard the Aron itself. Because the Aron was in a bite, it was in a complex, and was in a mini temple. So to safeguard the temple that it was in, sheyeh b'tahara, that should be holy, ulechabed, ulerabetz, lifnei Aron. You know what that means? Lechabed and lerabetz. Lechabed is to clean, lerabetz is also to clean, lifnei Aron. Right? So they, I remember reading a story about a big tzaddik that he used to go in the synagogue and clean where the Sefer Torah was, clean it with his beard. Like not only do I want to clean it, I want to get all in and just to clean it. And that was what Elazar did over there. And you know, there's something very interesting. There's a Mishnah in Perkei Avot that says that Talmidei Chachamim, we have to litabek b'afar ragleim. We have to roll after the dust of their feet, right? Because they teach Torah, they have to, and also like their ways teach us, right? The Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah says that we even have to, just to understand the conversations of earthly matters, of righteous, of pious Torah scholars, like we even have to analyze their simple conversations. They said, good morning, how did they say? What did they say? How did they answer? What did he say after that? They give me the plate, take the fork, even that kind of thing. And there's a lot of kavod in that, getting close to that. So getting close to the Aron, getting close to the place that holds the Aron. And even for us, when we honor the synagogue, that's the closest thing we have to the Aron, it's a mitzvah. You clean the synagogue, it's a mitzvah. You sweep the synagogue, you change the light bulbs, you see something, you make it nice, or you enhance the synagogue in any way that you can. One of the biggest mitzvot in the world, and it gives us a lot of sachar. And by the way, it says that Yoshua, Eved Moshe, huh?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say that.
Oh, what about, yeah?
Yoshua and Moshe, because the reason Yoshua followed Moshe, not his children, is because he was Eved Moshe, and he went with him to the bathhouse, and he went with him to walking, and he went with him to the shopping. Everything he did in his life, he followed him. He followed him, and so that is that called shimush, right? Shimush Rabo or Tamid Uvak, and it also says that Yeshua became. It says that Moshe, Pnei Moshe, the face of Moshe, Kipnei Achama, is like the face of the sun. Can you look at the sun? No. You can't look at the sun. He's massive. Moshe Rabbeinu, you can't even look at him. And evidently at the later years of his life, you couldn't look at his face. He has to cover his face. He had so much light. Pnei Yeshua, in the face of Yeshua, Kipnei Achama, like the face of the moon. You could look at the moon. So, but how did Yeshua reach that point? How did Yeshua get to such a place where he was the the successor of Moshe Rabbeinu? He was Moshe.
So he went after Moshe Rabbeinu. He was Moshe. And it also says, Lo yamish mitocha oel, he never moved from the tent, meaning from Moshe Rabbeinu, but also in the tent, which is Oel Moed, the tent of meetings. But also says, you know, that they had books, they had scrolls, they didn't have the whole Torah, but they had many teachings. And he would organize the place of study. He would put things back, he would organize, he would clean it, and that's how he had the zechut of getting that big mitzvah. They also say about Rabbi Yosef Shalom Eliashiv. You heard of Rabbi Yosef Shalom Eliashiv? Very, very big Lithuanian, I believe, Talmid Chacham, or Russian in origin. And they eventually moved to Israel. His mother had him after 11 years of not having children. And his grandfather, from his maternal side, was Rabbi Eliashiv, which was a huge Kabbalist. He wrote the book L'Shem Shevo Ve'Achlama, very, very big Kabbalist. And he was an Ashkenazi rabbi in Europe, and he wrote letters to the Sephardic Mekubalim, like the Ben Ish Chai. You heard of the Ben Ish Chai? In Iraq and Baghdad. And Rabbi Shar Abi back in Yemen and then Israel. So he would write Kabbalah letters and correspondence, and when he wrote his book, he sent it to the Ben Ish Chai, like the first transcript. So eventually, when he had his first, about his first grandchild, he said, I want you to call this grandchild Yosef Shalom. He said, why? Yosef for Rabbi Yosef Chaim, the Ben Ish Chai, and Shalom for Rabbi Shalom Sharabi. Isn't that amazing? Mm. So anyways, he was a big Kabbalist, and eventually they moved to Israel. His original name is not Eliashiv, because Eliashiv is his grandfather from his maternal side. His original name is Vilis or something. But in order to get visas for Israel, they went to the Chafetz Chaim and he told them and he gave them advice. All of you change your name to Elyashiv, so it's one family. So when you make an application, they'll just give it to you. They followed his instructions. They got a visa right away. They moved to Israel. They kept the last name. But when he went to Eretz Yisrael, he was like 14. Like, where is he going to study? He was so rigorous in his studies that he wasn't able to like be in the schools. So he studied with his grandfather, which was a Kabbalist, and eventually his grandfather couldn't see well, so he had to read the books that his grandfather told him. Get me that book, and he would read it. And then his grandfather wrote his Kabbalah books, but he couldn't write them because he's blind. So he tells this 14-year-old kid, write this, now write that, now write that. Now he says he's worried that if he's going to tell him to write it, and he doesn't really understand it, maybe there's going to be a complication. So he had to teach him Kabbalah when he was like 14, 15 years old, or even younger, so he could write it the right way. Now that's something that about Rabbi Elyashiv you don't know, because when you hear Rabbi Elyashiv, you're like halacha and Lithuanian thing, but he's named after Sephardic rabbis, and he's a Kabbalist before he even. And so, anyways, so he was meshamesh. He was close to the Torah, from such an age, and very similar thing to over here what we see about Elazar, that was lishmor et aron Hashem, to safeguard the aron of Hashem. That sheyeh b'tahara lechabed ulerabez lifnei Hashem. We're almost finishing Perek Zayin. Very quickly, pasuk Gimel. So everyone was behaving nicely, yeah. Vayinahu, they were nice, yeah. The Jewish people. But we're going to see over here, pasuk Gimel, verse 3. Vayom Shmuel lekol bet Yisrael emorim b'chol levavchem atem shavim al Adonai asir et olei anochem etochem v'ashtarot v'achim levavchem al Adonai v'yivdu levado v'yatzel etchem yad Pelishtim. If you really want to be close to Hashem, get rid of all the avodah zarah. What do you mean? I thought you said we're going after Hashem. But they still have avodah zarah. There's still things going on over there that he's telling them to get rid of all the avodah zarah. And according to Musaf Rashi, mitchila chziram l'muta ve'achar kach yitpalel aleim. They said, pray and to Hashem that we'll have safety, that Hashem will safeguard us. And he said, if you want safety, if you want my prayer to work, you have to get rid of your avodah zarah. The only way to do that is if you get rid of your avodah zarah. And the truth is, it's very true. Sometimes, we want to go to a big rabbi in Israel and get a blessing, and the rabbi tells us, just be a good Jew and you'll be fine. You'll have all the blessings in the world. Of course, a blessing from them is very, very good to have, but the real ones tell you, like, you follow everything and you'll have all the blessings in the world. Don't worry about anything. So the Jewish people eventually get rid of the Baalim and of the Ashtarot. They still have idols in their pockets, in their homes. So they're finally getting rid of it. And everybody wants to do teshuvah to get to a better place so they could be a good society. And they serve God on His own. So now, what do you expect after such a big mitzvah? Good things, yeah? So they all get together. So they said, bring everyone to the mitzvah, which is like this place that you could oversee, like kind of like a hill. And they get him to the mitzvah. They bring water, they pour water, they do teshuva, everybody's happy, they let go of their idols, they're going to serve God. Now what happens? The enemies of the Jews, the Plishtim, they're like, what are all the Jews doing on the mountain over there? Like, are they getting ready for war? Oh, they're getting ready for war, so now we're going to go to war with the Jews. So the Jews are just trying to do teshuva, and the Plishtim are now attacking them, as we see in Pasuk Zayin. They heard that Bnei Yisrael are in one place, and they're attacking them. So I'm sure there was a very deep challenge of emunah, of faith in Hashem. Hey, I'm doing the right thing, and now the Plishtim are attacking me. Like, where's the logic behind that? Where's all the fairness? Well, you're going to see that something good happened out of it. And so everyone turns to Shmuel. Shmuel, help us out. Don't leave us, as the Pasuk Chet says. Vayikach Shmuel talech alav echad. So Shmuel says, okay, I know what to do. He takes a baby, what do you call it? Lamb, baby lamb. Vayaleu la kalila Hashem. After slaughtering it, he offers it to Hashem. He calls out to Hashem, and God answers him. Vayish Shemuel ma'aleh olah, and Shmuel is bringing up this olah. Olah means that the whole thing is burned to Hashem, the whole thing. And Plishtim are coming to the war, And Vayarem Hashem bekol gadol, and Hashem does a ram. You know what a ram is? Thunder. Thunder. Yeah, well, for us it could be like a shofar, but when Hashem makes a ram, it's a thunder. Now, by the way, any people that study this can tell me, I'm just saying from what I know, the world can survive without thunder. Maybe you need lightning, but thunder you don't need. It doesn't serve a purpose. It's not for anything that we need and for the mechanisms of... Yeah, we don't really need thunder. The only reason why there's thunder, according to the Gemara, is to straighten the crookedness of the heart. That's what the Gemara says. That's why you need a thunder. Now, every time we hear thunder, is it for my crookedness or for their crookedness? Probably for somebody else. No, it's whatever crookedness. There could be people. I'm just joking. I'm saying there could be people that need a little reminder, like Hashem rules the world. Maybe something like that. And when so Hashem uses this to scare off the Plishtim, and he's scaring off the Plishtim. Vayarem Hashem bekol gadol bayom al Plishtim vayumem. He's like, they're so confused that they forget about their whole thing and they don't attack Israel and they run away. And of course, the people of Israel are they run after them and they win them and they shoot them away. Vaikanu Pelishtim, verse 13. Vaikanu Pelishtim, and the Pelishtim have been subdued or submitted to the Jews, in front of the Jews. V'lo yasfu od lavo b'gvul Yisrael v'tiyah ad Hashem Pelishtim kol yemei Shmuel. And all the days of Shmuel, the hand of Hashem was in the Pelishtim. Meaning to say, as a result of Shmuel's guidance and piety and righteousness, the Pelishtim never had a hand on the Jewish people. All the cities that the Pelishtim snatched from the Jewish people were now returned to the Jewish people. So there's a big return of land to the Jewish people. And there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Now, these are psukim I want to focus on as we end off this Perek, this chapter. Vayishpot Shemuel et Israel, and Shemuel judged Israel kol yemei chayav, all the days of his life. Ve'alach midei shana b'shana v'savav Bet-El, and he went from year to year around Bet-El, ve'agilgal ve'amitzvah ve'shavat et Israel et kol ha'makomot ha'ele. Like we said before, how did Shemuel judge Israel? How did he lead Israel? He went from place to place to place to place. As opposed to who? His children. His children did not do that. So he somehow had a corrective measure that his children didn't do. That not only did they not go to the people, they also, when the people in front of them, they didn't really, whatever. But he came and he went and he had a corrective way of doing that. And then this very powerful pasuk Yud Zayin, U'tshuvato haramata, his teshuvah is haramata, is in the Ramah, is in the hill, Kisham beto, because there is his house. V'sham shafat et Yisrael v'evin sham yizbach l'Hashem. So what do you mean Tshuvato haramata Hashem beto? It's a play of words. Verse 17 is could show us everything about Shmuel and who he really is, his personality. Who is Shmuel? Ma? Oh, so why does it say Utshuvato haramata? So he says over here, the commentators teach us that Shemuel went haramata kisham beto, because there is his house. He never troubled the people to come to him, as we said before, but also Utshuvato haramata, after he went to all these places. Remember, he had a round in all of the cities of Israel, and then teshuvato, he was shav, he returned to the Ramah where he lived, kisham beto, because that's where his house is, means to say, according to the Ralbag, sham beto, he says over here, so he built an altar in this place, in the Ramah, in his house, and after he taught everybody around there, he also came back to his house and taught everybody in his city. But he says over there, Kisham beto, because that's where his house is. What do you mean, because that's where his house is? It means, this is unbelievable. Rabotenu darshu, bechol makom shaya olech, wherever he used to go, said the Gemara in Masechet Brachot Daf Yud, Sham beito, that's where his house was. I think we spoke about that before. Did we ever mention that before? Wherever he went, that's where his house was. What does that mean?
He lived with the people.
What?
He lived with the people.
Maybe he lived with the people.
And you said that you went to Mishram. He
completely
took his own, when
self-sufficient.
he traveled, he didn't
He
take
took everything with him when he traveled. So he didn't trouble anyone for a spoon.
Yeah.
Nothing. Wherever he went, he had everything with him. כלומר שלא היה נהנה מאדם אלא משלו. He never enjoyed anything else from it. Okay. So, and that's where he judged Israel. And so I just want to list a few things as we end off in the last 2-3 minutes here. Wow, we have 10 seconds. But if anybody wants to look up at the end of Perek Zayin, chapter 7, the Ralbag brings 36 lessons from the whole story of Shmuel. Okay? So one lesson, first of all, I'll just maybe mention 11 and then just because we don't have time. So the first one is, okay, Shmuel came from very holy foundations. His father, his mother, they were pious, they were prophets, they were holy. So it makes an impression. Secondly, Hashem looks out. Hashem mashgiach b'shvelim. Mazah shvelim, those that are low. Hashem looks out at the low ones. Chana was low. Rina had so many children. Chana didn't have children. Hashem looks out for Chana. And he looks and Dafka, he wants to know what their needs are. Number 3, the whole story, it's not from this class, but from before, the whole story with Chana and her husband, how they went to Yerushalayim. They went in the holidays to Jerusalem. So he says, even the women are not obligated to go up to Jerusalem on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Why? Because it's a time-bound mitzvah. But Ra'ui Lashalem la'alot otam imo. So the person that has a whole heart, that wants to do the right thing, that wants to get close to Hashem, has to tell themselves, even though my children are young, or even though my wife does not have to go to Jerusalem and she has, it's a long journey, whatever it is, maybe they should make an effort. I want them to be in Yerushalayim. Why do I want them to be in Yerushalayim? He says over here, Kedei lehashrish emunah amitit. Because when you're in Yerushalayim and you see the Kohanim and you see the Levim and all of Am Yisrael are coming, and when you're in the outskirts of the walls, there's the mikveh to go there, and then there's people selling you holy fruit. What do you mean holy fruit? Fruit that wasn't touched by it. That all these things, and you see thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people coming to Yerushalayim. What does that do to you? What kind of impression does it make? You, as a child, or even at any age, will never. It will penetrate. That's one thing. And also, isn't there a mitzvah to be samech v'samachta b'chagecha? You have to be happy in the holidays, and it really refers to Sukkot, but it's all the holidays. So how can you be happy if you're without your children and family and your wife? So the father of Shmuel said, it says to be happy. The Torah doesn't tell me, bless you. The Torah doesn't tell me to bring all my family, but I know I need to be happy, and my real happiness is going to be with my family. I want all my family to join me. Number 4, Ra'ui lachnoch hadalim. It is worthy to have compassion and mercy and to help the people that are low, the people that are needy. Help them. Just like Elkanah helped Chana, his wife. She was in a bad state, a bad situation. You have to leave everything and help them and be there for them. Number 5, En ra'ui lidgaot al ribuy hatovah. When Hashem gives a person, an individual, ribuy, harbe, a lot of an abundance of good, don't get overinflated. And that's what happened when we see with the story of Chana and her counterpart. Lo litpalel achei achila v'shtiyah. Do not pray after you eat. So after you eat, you're not as needy. Before you eat, you're more needy. I'm saying everyone. So why did Eli think that Chana was shikora? First of all, because she didn't make a sound when she prayed, but also because it was after everybody ate. So he's like, what are you doing? People don't pray after they eat. She had her reasons why first of all, she didn't eat. She didn't eat even. That's why she went to pray. But anyways, number 7, Sha'arei dim'a lo ninalu. The gates of tears were not locked. The Gemara says that all the gates of heaven are locked. Locked. Except for the gates of tears, and the gates of tzedakah, and the gate of inui adin, of somebody that's oppressed. Their tefillot go all the way up. And of course, when you have a lot of people together, it doesn't mean that our prayers don't get answered, but I'm just saying there's certain gates that aren't always open. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Maybe if you pray the right way, you channel your tefillot, then whatever. But there are gates that were never ever closed. And Sha'arei dim'a lo ninalu. She cried to Hashem, she prayed to Hashem, and He answered her prayer. Number 8, Hashem yodea machshavot bnei adam. Hashem knows our thoughts. How do you think prayer works? Hashem knows our thoughts. So even though it's better to make a sound when you pray, but the halakha is as long as you move your lips, even if you didn't make a sound when you pray, it also works, just like with Chana. Number 9, המבקש דבר מהשם על צד החסד, שידור נדר להשם. I don't know if we spoke about that before, but if you're asking Hashem to do a big chesed with you, that otherwise you're not sure if you're worthy to receive, oh Hashem, I need this, I want that, grant me that. So you can make a deal with Hashem, just like Chana made a deal with Hashem. Yaakov Avinu also did the same thing when he was running from Esav, and the Eliphaz came and he didn't have anything, so he made a deal with Hashem. Give me this, I'll give you that in return. And it's not a bad thing, it just shows how much you believe in Hashem. It just shows how much you believe in Hashem. Like, it's not a bad thing. And ראוי לשלם שיעיין בענייני אנשים נוכחם. And also, if you have people around you, you should be aware to what's going on around you, and then you can help people that are around you and guide them to a good place. And that's the end of that. So I just want to share that we're going into a time where more people are away, and also for myself, I may get carried away and a little bit busy with the family. So maybe we'll take a little bit of a break. And then come back in a couple or a few weeks. I'm sorry that we have to go into this kind of thing, but
How was the
Huh?
camp?
I think we're enjoying this though. See,
we're enjoying the class very much. I'm enjoying.
Just do
Huh?
Do you have a date or something? from when
So we could put a date. I mean, if you guys are happy to put a date.
It's good to know.